Really very positive. I think better than anybody could have expected. Top of the line. Really good. We're going right now for a signing.
What is the sign?
Chairman, do you have any comments about denuclearization?
What are you signing, sir?
We're going to be announcing that in a couple of minutes.
Mr. Kim, will you
Mr. Kim?
denuclearize? Will you open up your prisons?
All right, let's get to Christian Amanpour in Singapore. Christian, a signing. We do expect from President Trump to have some hyperbole. He is known that way. He needs this to be perceived as a success because he gave so much in giving the North Korean regime parity with him on the world stage. But he said we're off to a signing. Could they have reached any substantive agreement at this point?
Well, we have been talking all day about a possible declaration and a signing of that. So this may be what we're talking about. Not quite sure, and we'll wait to see. It's really interesting to watch how this is unfolding. And you saw as they sort of walked out of those porticos, President Trump sort of steered him. I guess that maybe that was the only way, but right past the cameras, he was able to talk to the press. Kim Jong-un was not. And then they walked on. I'm not sure whether having an even longer walk, but, anytime these two leaders meet, well, I see cars, frankly. They're getting into cars and going somewhere, not quite sure where or what the next item on the agenda is, but this looks pretty interesting. They've had their one-on-one. It lasted, we're told, about 45 minutes, and they're not getting into the car.
No, I think that, Christian, I think the President of the United States was just showing Kim his much celebrated special Cadillac. That's the president's special car that they call the Beast. And it seemed like he was letting him check out his car.
Could have been. Unclear, but you may absolutely be right. Obviously, the body language has been a great deal of focus has been put on that. It's been very equal in terms of equal sort of patting on shoulders, patting on arms, and all the flags, the number of flags, where they sat, where they spoke, how they met. Do you remember when they first came out to shake hands?
Sure.
And there had been some talk before that the more senior leader would be in the room first, and then the more, relatively junior leader would meet. Well, they actually came out of those arches exactly at the same time, stood in front of the flags exactly at the same time, shook hands.
Right.
So apparently the North Koreans are incredibly keen on this kind of parity and to be treated as equals. So I think what we really do have to say is that for the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, he has done a total 360 in the space of several months. He has gone...
Most importantly, on the North Korean side, you see Kim Jong-un's sister, Kim Yo-jong, a top aide to Kim Jong-un. You also see Kim Young-chol, who's really been the lead negotiator for the North Koreans. He's met with Secretary Pompeo 3 times, including in New York City. And now the National Security Advisor to President Trump, John Bolton, has also joined this huddle. He is on President Trump's left-hand side, and this party is conversing. I'm not sure exactly, what the mix-up is at this point, but they appear to be heading somewhere.
They appear to have joined the conversation along with an aide to Kim Jong-un. Their translators are there trying to catch all of this conversation. I'm Aaron Katersky. You're listening to live coverage from ABC News. President Trump and Kim Jong-un appear to be nearing the end of their summit. The two men nodding at one another, shaking hands with one another, and now leaving each other's company, retreating with their respective delegations to different parts of the building in Singapore. Whether they have signed what the president said they were expected to sign is not immediately clear, but we can see Kim Jong-un walking rapidly away down a colonnade beneath or side by side with white pillars, leaving the company of President Trump after a nod and a handshake. President Trump has done the same, huddling with his team behind closed doors at what may be the end of this summit in Singapore. Connor Finnegan, who covers the State Department, is traveling in Singapore, and he's with us live. Any ideas, Con?
Aaron, we know that at some point in time, the two men were expected to sign a joint communique, a statement that had a broad outline of denuclearization by the North Koreans in exchange for security assurances and economic relief from the United States. But at this point in time, we don't know what the specifics of that document are. That will be the most important thing to watch. Out of all this pageantry, all this symbolism, all of the handshakes and the grip and grins, what's most important is what is in that document. Again, President Trump saying they were going for a signing, but at this point in time, the two men, as you said, have dispersed, huddled with their teams. Perhaps we'll regroup after that to sign this joint communique.
If there has been a signing, it was not apparent as they paused for a good couple of minutes and appeared to be negotiating the next move. ABC's James Longman is watching all of this unfold in Singapore. James, kind of a remarkable moment there, because until now there had been a precise choreography with this summit, and this appears to be, if it's a hiccup, the only one so far.
Yeah, it was extraordinary. We were just sitting here watching it. It looks a little bit like, you know, when you're at a major event and the most important person at the event wants to go through a security door and there's some security guy saying you can't come through here. That's what it looked like. I mean, it was very strange. I mean, for a moment, I mean, if you look, you could see pictures now. We're seeing the Beast, you know, the presidential Cadillac that takes the president everywhere he goes. It might have been that Donald Trump wanted to show Kim Jong-un his car. I mean, that's the kind of thing that you'd expect a president like this to do. And Kim Jong-un has enjoyed seeing the sights here in Singapore, so it looked a little bit like that because they were walking towards it. But we were thrown off guard a bit there by Trump saying we're going to go and sign something. And that's what we've all been waiting for. That's the communique. That's the agreement. That's some kind of wording about the denuclearization process and what it might mean. So if they are not going to do that, then it begs the question, well, what exactly was this day for? I mean, it looks like that probably will happen because Trump has said that a signing will happen. But I mean, what's in it? What does denuclearize actually mean? I mean, have these two men worked out what that definition is? Because we know that going into this, the United States was very clear. Denuclearization meant total and complete removal of the capability to develop nuclear weapons and an irreversible effort to do that. Whereas the North Koreans think, well, no, it's denuclearization of the peninsula, which means South Korea as well, and it means American nuclear capabilities in the region also have to be moved back. So have they had an agreement on that? What does that mean? Also, you know, in this agreement, has there been some kind of conversation about drawing an end to the Korean War? Because we know that the President Moon of South Korea has been on the phone yesterday for 40 minutes with President Trump, and he was really one of the big players in this, bringing these two individuals together. So will that be part of the communique? Because, of course, these two countries have been at war, at least on paper, since 1953, only really with an armistice since then. And what has Trump given Kim in as a kind of as a prize, really, for giving up his nuclear capability? What concessions has Donald Trump made? So really, these are all questions where we're dying to hear the answers to, and we want to know what's in this document and what indeed both Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump will be signing.
ABC's James Longman live in Singapore, where President Trump and Kim Jong-un a moment ago walked into the courtyard of the Capella Resort. They appeared to be in good spirits. They left their interpreters and walked side by side, looking straight ahead through a narrow gray path past some cameras, and President Trump said they were having a really fantastic meeting with a lot of progress. Top of the line, he said, better than anybody could have expected.